Greetings, it's Mark here from Cahoots Photo Books. In this session we're going to look at text and how you would place text in your book for maybe a title on your cover, for headings in the book, or perhaps some captions or boilerplate text that you may wish to have. Okay, one obvious place for text is going to be your cover. So you may want to place a title somewhere. To add text, you can click on the text menu item at the top. If you click on that, choose to add text. So you need to click in your document to add the text. So I'm going to choose not to see this dialog again. Okay, so here's my cross. Doesn't really matter where you click because you're going to position your text box after you've added your text. So I click, I get a text box, and in order to enter my text, I can double click within the box, or I can click once on this little icon. So my text editor is then displayed, and it will look very similar to a basic Word text editing interface. So you can choose any font that you have on your system. During the time that the book is rendered, all of the fonts are converted to bitmap. So whatever font you have on your system, that's what will be printed. You can make it any size you like. Let's see what I would like. I'll choose Palatino. So, sculpture by the sea. I'm going to make this quite large. And I will apply that and see how we go. Okay, right. So you see my text box. I've expanded it so that it covers or contains all of my text on one line. If I double click, I can edit this again. I could, for example, if I don't like the black color, I can make it white and see how that looks. I might also choose to center my text within the text box. Okay, there. So that's a basic text addition exercise. One thing to keep in mind is the color of your text. It should have good contrast. If I was placing it over busy parts of an image, it can get a bit lost. So especially for covers, it's a good idea to choose an image that has some large area where your text will have good contrast. That might mean that you might need to have it perhaps a little bit smaller. Oops. Let's go back here. To make it fit wherever it needs to go. Also keep in mind there is a hinge, which is the crease where the cover will open up adjacent to the spine. That is a bit over 1 centimetre or so in width. So sometimes your eye will draw an artificial line. So when you're centering content, you might want to just nudge it just a tiny bit to the right, because your eye, when the book is made up and you're looking at this crease, your eye is going to look between this point and the edge of your book. If you want to check how your cover is going to look and how your text is placed, it's a very good idea to look at the preview. So if we look at the preview, we will see the flaps have been greyed out, because this is more or less what we will see when our book is made up as the front cover. So there will be this hinge line very subtly placed around about here, and so I would be happy enough that this is fairly centered, that I'm not going to be worried about that. Okay, let's get back. So the other thing you may want to do, you might want to add some spine text. How to do that? Once again, add text. I'm going to say sculpture by the sea. For the spine text, I'm going to give it a simple font, as I want it to be readable. I'm going to make it quite small. And I will say, you should also center it. Important to center it. For reasons that will become clear. I will say OK. Now, I can drag this up. Now if I click on this, I see my dimensions over on this side, and I can also specify a rotation. So if I say 90, it's going to face in one direction, or I could put -90, it's going to face in the other direction. So if my book is lying flat on a table, this text will be the right way up. So I'm going to place it on the spine, and I'm going to drag the text box up and also down to match the dotted line. And I'm going to double click the text box and make it white. This is my text color. Make it white. I might make it bold as well, and go OK. So now I have placed my text in the center of the spine, as in between the top and the bottom of the spine. And what I advise to do is once again use the preview. You can also zoom with the preview. Get right up large, and we just need to make sure that our high letters and our low letters, the L's and the P's, will have room between the edge of the spine. Once again, there could be a millimetre or so difference when the book is made up as to where the spine text actually ends up on the spine. So you definitely want to have a little bit of room. So this would be fine for this width of spine. The other thing that you might want to do with text, you might want to make headings. That's pretty much the same process as you would use for placing a title on the cover. You can place a heading anywhere you like in your book. You might also want some boilerplate text or captions, and you can do that by adding text. I'm going to click to make my box. And here, what I recommend is that you have, if you've got, say, paragraphs of text, that you type your text in Word first. Use the spell checker in Word. You can also format in Word, and nearly all of that formatting would be preserved when you cut and paste, or copy and paste. So within your Word document, select your text and copy. Come to the text editing panel in Cahoots Easy Designer and paste your text. We don't have any spell checking, so the worst thing you would want to have happen is that you get your book back, you look at all those paragraphs of text that you wrote, and then discover there's a spelling error. So the advice is use Word, do the spell checking, and optionally you can also do formatting, and then copy that text, paste into this editor, and then you can apply or OK, and your text will be placed on your book page. Then you can move that text wherever you like. One thing that you may find you get warnings for is you might say that there's text too short, or the text box is too short for the contained text. The thing to do is always check the text by using the preview. If you see the text as expected with your preview button, then that's the way it will print. Sometimes when you're adding text, you add line feeds or extra lines, so you don't see those lines or extra blank lines, but the software doesn't know if there's any text there or not, but it knows there are line feeds and carriage returns, and so it may complain that the box is too small for the contained text. But that may simply be because you've added a few blank lines, and those blank lines have gone beyond the bottom of the text box. But as I said, if you can see all that you're expecting to see when you use the page preview, you're good to go. Okay, that's probably all we need to talk about with dealing with text. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.